Happy Monday, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. There is a little bit of noise outside because the neighbors have their gardener. I don't know if you can hear that. So this is going to be a duet for cello, orchestra, and gardening people outside. This piece is a classical concerto. So for those of you that don't know, maybe you're not familiar with classical music because you're here for Metal Monday and you're like, what is going on? So a concerto is basically a piece that a soloist, so it could be a cello player, a piano player, a singer, so like a solo, basically a giant guitar solo that's super, super long. And this particular piece was written by Saint-Saëns. He was a French composer, and he composed this piece in 1872. So this is not a new piece. This is a very, it's an oldie. And my cello actually is also a French instrument. He was born in 1880. So this piece was written 8 years before this cello was made. And I thought it'd be fun to play a French piece on a French cello. I am not French, but that's okay. And what else? I think that's about it. Usually when I play classical concertos, I'll probably, even if I already know the piece, like this piece, I'll practice for approximately 5 to 6 hours a day for at least 1 or 2 months prior to the concert. And I know that I meant to do this live stream last week with only 4 days of practice, so I have had a little bit more practice. And hopefully I will sound okay for you guys. I'm going to be playing along with one of my own recordings. If you're interested in seeing it after, it's here on YouTube. This is the 2016 recording that I did with the Auburn Symphony. They are in Northern California. So I'm going to play along with this one, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll come chat with you guys a little bit after. Okay, wish me luck. I hope I sound okay. All right, here we go. First page of the concerto. So that is the ending of the first movement. This concerto is split into 3 movements, so 3 sections. And this is the start of the second movement, which is traditionally the slower movement in a concerto. So it's usually a little bit, slower, more romantic. And this concerto is unique in that there are no breaks, so it just goes straight through. For usually, like the piece will stop, so there'll be movement 1, it'll stop, movement 2, stop. But this concerto is actually all mushed into one really, really long 20-minute segment. So we are in part 2 of 3 total now. Okay, it's time for the last and final movement. It's movement 3. It is the fastest movement and the most difficult to play. much for watching. I'm gonna grab the phone from the stand so I can see you guys. Hi! I wanted to say thank you so much for the super chats I saw. Thank you, you guys. Thank you, Dale. Hi, thank you guys so much. I hope that sounded okay. I don't know how the, the audio translated. So just so you can see what the setup was, there's my setup. I put up some sound panels because of the gardening outside, which actually stopped, so that's good. And Rambo helped me put up some more stuff on the wall. A couple weeks ago, these are my Grammy certificates that came in, and then some of the movies, the projects that I've played on. So, oh, and they started gardening again outside. I wonder, no, they probably weren't listening. Maybe they were just taking a very opportune break. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will hang out with you guys for maybe, 5-10 minutes, answer some questions if you would like. I'm actually going to put oh my God, I can't even think right now, sorry. I'm gonna put the phone on this stand so I don't have to hold my phone. And then I would love to chat with you guys for a little bit before I go. I'm actually doing a Zoom, like a classroom visit, a virtual visit with the Columbia College of Chicago. They have a master's program for film composers, masters in film composing. I'm actually going to talk to them about financial planning, like career development today for 2 hours from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I'm super excited about that. Actually, speaking of that, let me see. Okay, so it's 9:23. I'm gonna hang out actually probably for just about another 10 minutes with you guys because I'm gonna have some breakfast and then prep for the talk and finish my coffee. I don't know if you heard earlier, I was trying to say that I'm not drinking beer. It's a root beer flavored sparkling water, which is super weird. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I will be playing this concerto live with an orchestra next April. I don't really play that much straight classical music anymore, like traditional classical music, but I do try to at least say, if I ever get asked by orchestra, I do my best to say yes if it fits into my timeline, because I feel like it keeps me honest. I still feel that classical music by far is more difficult because it is already, there's more, I think more rules and regulations, not necessarily a bad thing, but there's very specific things that you can really get away with on the electric cello or playing my own music, because even if I mess up, I'm like, well, I meant to do that, it's my own music. So you can't really do that with classical music. Oh, thank you, Miriam. All right, guys, I am going to, thank you, Nathan. Would you do a video on cello in college? Yes, Nathan, that's a great idea. I don't know if I'm the best person to give that talk only because I dropped out of music school. So I went to USC for 2.5 years, but actually I left because I started getting really busy and I wasn't able to balance my performance and recording work with actually being in school and being there for all my classes, which I don't think is the right way to go for probably most people. But as far as I guess just general tips and getting into a good music school, just making sure that, you practice a lot for your auditions, that in the end, everything comes down to practice and dedication and devotion. And I would feel dishonest if I were to outright just say to every person, yeah, just major in music, it's gonna be great, because as we know, music is extremely difficult, just like many other things, but in the arts, I think especially classical music is so hard. It is so difficult to make a living doing that, especially if you're a straight classical musician, because the options are extremely limited. Now, before, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but just to be realistic, because I think that's really important. I don't like when people just say oh yeah, you're great, or oh, you'll be fine, because that's not helpful. That's not real life, right? So in reality, it's extremely difficult. There's very few orchestra jobs that are available because with tenure, most people don't retire until they pass away, or they get to the point where they really can't play anymore. So it's extremely limited how many spots for example, a cello player open up in an orchestra if that's what you want to do. And it's whenever there is an opening, thousands of people are competing for one position, and there's only very few orchestras in the world that actually pay what I think to be a reasonable salary. There's many orchestras, just because of a lack of funding. It's not their fault. It's not that orchestras are evil by any means, but because of lack of funding and whatnot, it's very, very hard to make a living, even if you have, for a lot of musicians, even if you have an orchestra job. I know many musicians who play in 2 or 3 different orchestras. They're also teaching on the side, which is great. I mean, you should definitely hustle. But I think it's really important to just be aware of that situation. And then also maybe try to focus on how you can take your main skill, which is like what I did, take the cello, but turn that into a business, because in the end, you as a musician, you are a business. I'm a business. Every person, you're your own brand or your business, and try to think of yourself more as a business and not just as a musician waiting to get hired or hoping to, win an audition because again, this is just my opinion, but I feel like that type of energy, you're putting your entire fate and destiny into somebody else's hands and someone else's opinion if they think you're good enough, or if they, so I just think it's important to do that. So if you go to music school, if it's possible, take at least a couple classes in marketing, in business. And again, you don't have to learn this in college. I learned most of the stuff that I've learned myself in my own journey just by a lot of mistakes, trial and error, and reading stuff that's online or in books and whatnot. And so you can really just educate yourself on more than just playing the cello, because you can practice for 10 hours a day. We all know people who are amazing cellists and amazing musicians who are completely broke and can't get any work. So unfortunately, the world is not fair that way. So practicing a lot does not equal actually being able to be a working musician. So just keep that in mind. Sorry for the really long-winded answer, but I'm very passionate about this subject because I think it's every musician, every person deserves to at least be able to make a comfortable living. And so you have to be aware to think about more than just playing your instrument, because that's really not enough. And it has never been. I know some people think, back in the good old days, like, no, that's not true, because if you think about it, how do classical musicians survive? From patrons. They had wealthy donors, or they had royalty. Most of the pieces that you hear were commissioned for weddings, for parties, for church services. So it was all paid for by other people. So it was never. It's always been a business. So just don't forget that, because I think people tend to it was different back then. It was never different. In fact, it was actually more. So don't forget, you are a business, and make sure to educate your mind, not just your fingers and your heart with music. Okay, all right, let's answer a couple more. Let's see. Okay, so Sarah, hi Sarah, says, why did you choose to focus on film music over straight classical music? I choose to focus on, I think, it's not so much film music. I choose to focus on music that I'm passionate about. So obviously I still, still play classical cello, but I find a lot more freedom in being able to express myself, to write new music, to create things that are new, not that there's anything wrong with it, but in classical music, you have hundreds of thousands of musicians all playing the same pieces over and over and over and over again, which is great because you need that preservation. It's like a museum, right? But I think it's also important to remember that classical music used to be new music and original music that was written every day, every week, and all church services, and there was new music all the time. And now it's kind of turned into this museum piece where everybody's playing the same things. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of that, I've run into it a lot. I'm sure you have too in the world of classical music. It's, again, not everybody, but I have found that there's a lot of people who become very entrenched in a certain way of thinking. And yes, if you're not a musician, you're like, what is she talking about? Believe it or not, it's not just in the world or in politics or whatever. It's also in music where people think, you have to play it this way. That's not right. How can you use that vibrato? And for me, it's like music is supposed to be about individuality and expressing yourself, not being a copy, not being a robot, not just playing whatever your teacher tells you, unless it's the technical thing, I'm talking about expression. So I like the fact that in new music, and film music technically is like the new class, whatever you want to call classical music, I guess European art music, orchestrally instrument-based music, that is the modern classical music. And so I really love that because I get to be a part of something new and different, and to be able to create, not just copy other people, and play things that have already been played, which again is wonderful. Obviously, I just played a piece for you that was from 1872, so I love that as well. But I think just having the freedom to express yourself and to really show respect to classical music and where, music from a long time ago to your musical ancestors, it's all great. So that's, I guess that's my reasoning. And don't forget, my great passion is also industrial metal. And if there's not really a reason I focus on it, I just like it. So, okay, a couple more. Okay, so Lark's World says, hi Tina, thank you so much for your beautiful music. Thank you so much for your beautiful self being here. Thank you guys so much, all of you. Do you think it is viable to make a living as a contemporary musician as long as I'm willing to teach and be open-minded? Yes, 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 yes. I always say it doesn't matter what you do, it is possible 1000% to be extremely successful, to be a self-made millionaire, it doesn't matter what you do. I know it's possible because I've done it myself. And the thing is, it's really, I feel like a lot of times with musicians, because of how we're educated in traditional music schools, they don't really focus very much on financial planning or budgeting or how to save money and all of that stuff. And I guess in a lot of other, professions, there's not too much focus on that either. So like basic life skills. And I think if you have that and you're willing to put in as much effort into, analyzing, again, using your brain, on that side as you do in the practice room and, really, really analyzing a piece of music and practicing it, if you put in the same amount of effort and devotion and passion into both, there's no way that you can fail. So, you mentioned teaching and doing other gigs. Yes, you got to definitely hustle. I still teach. I do career consultation sessions where I'm just speaking with other musicians and helping them analyze their career and what they can do to grow their brand. I also teach the occasional, Zoom or Skype or FaceTime cello lessons still. I used to do that a lot more. Like, I think it's important to never feel like you're too good for something or like, oh no, that's, okay, Grant, I don't really play, $50 gigs anymore like I used to. But I think you understand what I mean. So definitely you are on the right path to success. And if you think that way already, then it is guaranteed that you will be successful. Okay. Let's see. Have you played the theme of Godzilla before, Tina? I actually haven't. I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Yes, I did. I was very industrial metal influenced for the soundtrack of Cyberpunk, so thank you for asking. Hi, Wayne. Have you ever watched Our Shining Days? I have not. I'll have to check that out. I don't know what that is, so Our Shining Days, I'll remember that. Says, is there a chance to see you again with Hans Zimmer live on stage? I hope so. If, not if, but when this whole virus situation hopefully, is solved and whatnot, and large-scale concerts continue. I'm sure those concerts will continue as well, so I'm very excited. I posted about it a little while ago, but my concert in Oklahoma was a concert with my band, so a full show. Unfortunately, that was moved to next year, so that was canceled because of the situation right now, in the U.S. with coronavirus. And I still have tentatively 2 dates in October, one in San Diego and two actually in Taiwan, so 3. But I kind of feel like it probably won't happen, so I'm waiting until actually the start of August to hear confirmation from the promoters and the buyers. So we'll see. So I think it's probably very likely that I'll only be doing live stream concerts like this for you guys for a while, but that's okay. I feel like it's also more intimate because usually, you're not like this close to my face when I'm on stage. It is a very different experience, and I'm enjoying it. So I hope you guys are too. Okay, one more, and then I am going to go. Oh, Wayne says it's a Chinese movie about traditional Chinese music versus classical. Very interesting. I'll have to check that out for sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Don. Saint-Saëns says hi, and thank you for the birthday concert. Happy birthday. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. I really appreciate your support and your generosity. Wow, $200 super chat donation. Thank you. I'm really, really grateful. Seriously, thank you so much. Okay, let's do one more. I keep saying one more question, and I just keep going. Ryan says I would have loved tickets for that. Yes, don't worry. As soon as things are confirmed, and they're going to happen for sure, I will post about it on all of my socials, on my website. I just don't have anything on there yet because I don't want to put anything up there until it's confirmed for these live concerts. But by the way, in September, I'm going to announce it when it gets a little bit closer. I am doing a more expanded live stream concert here on YouTube. It'll be free. Of course, we're accepting donations, and this is to benefit a nonprofit, which is the OK Mozart Music Festival. It's the one that I was supposed to, that I just mentioned before, Matt, in September. And because of, again, coronavirus, we're not able to do the concert this year because it wouldn't make any sense. They're only allowing 1/4, I think every 4th seat in the theater, which of course is necessary for social distancing, but because of that limitation, we wouldn't even be able to break even to do the concert, you know, for the cost of the hall and everything. So I'm doing a live stream from, not in my living room, it'll be my first live stream concert in more of a, like a show setting. So actually a warehouse in northern Las Vegas. We're gonna have a stage and probably some fog and some lights, and I'll be wearing, you know, not my home clothes, I'll be wearing like a stage outfit, and I'll be playing some music from Game On from my Hollywood's Greatest Themes album, about 30-35 minutes. I will announce more about that, but that'll actually be like an actual longer live stream concert, which I'm very excited about. So that's in September. It will be the Saturday before Labor Day. I think at 12 noon, but again, I'll announce it as we get closer because I think we're a little too far out. Oh, thanks, Cassidy. Octagon Prolex, favorite artist, favorite rock artist, Rammstein. I also love System of a Down. Let's see. Okay, so how many cellos do you own? Says Akash. I own, let's see, this one, which is my main classical cello, the 1880 Ghana Bernadette. I have 2 white electric cellos, John Snow and White Walker. No, not John Snow. John Snow's dead. White Walker and... yeah, John Snow and White Walker. And then I have my Tina Guo strings, which is my line of instruments, my Tina Guo strings model 600 cello. So actually only 2 acoustic cellos that are playable. I have a couple of like junk cellos that I got off Amazon just for props. Like when you see me like in the water, you know, in the ocean when I'm shooting a music video and people are like, wow, how did you bring your cello into the water and it still works? I'm like, come on guys, you know, use your brain. It is not my precious 1880 French cello. It is a, like, I think it was maybe $125 with free shipping, Prime, from Amazon. So I use these really cheap instruments that are like machine made and almost like plasticky. And they're so cheap that like actually they've lasted through so many different video shoots. In my Final Fantasy VII video, that cello was underwater in a pool, like completely submerged. We put weights onto the bottom of it. So I put it there. It's been in multiple oceans like 4 times, and somehow it's still in one piece, and I just can't believe it. It sounds terrible, but it started out sounding terrible anyway. So I have 2 junk cellos, 2 stunt cellos, 2 real cellos, and then 2 electric cellos, and 2 air hoods. Yes, in a kiddie pool with pizza and bagel. Okay. All right. It says, where's pizza? Bagel and pizza are actually hiding, I don't know, can you see that little, yeah, there's Bagel's nose. They're sleeping behind the divider. Okay, it says you should play one so we can hear the difference in sound from an expensive one. Yeah, you know, I've seen those videos where you compare like a cheap cello to an expensive cello. I can definitely do that. I can show you how terrible like a cheap cello sounds compared to a nice cello and maybe like a mid-level cello. The value of this cello is in the 6-figure range, so over $100,000. The Tina Guo, like it says, the Tina Guo Strings 600 model cello, I think, you know, I should probably know this since it's my own company, but I think we retail at about $6,000 to $7,000. So it's obviously significantly cheaper than this instrument. And then again, as I mentioned, the cello I got off Amazon from a Chinese factory. Nothing against Chinese factories. I was made in China myself and born in China, but that cello was like $100-something, you know, or maybe $200. So there is a big difference. I can definitely do that for you guys. I think next Metal Monday, I will be playing actual metal again on my electric cello. I will be playing The Flight of the Bumblebee, so Queen Bee. That's actually the very first music video that I ever made. If you guys want to check it out, you do have to make sure that you're signed in because it was rated 18 and over. So if you have children, you know, maybe watch it first before you show it to them. It is very artistic. And so if you want to check it out before, that will be the piece that I am playing next week. Okay. Oh, Jordy Garcia says, hi, Tina, will you play something today? I'm so sorry you missed it. Check it out after I sign off here, because I'm about to sign off. I actually played the entire Saint-Saëns cello concerto. It's about 20-minute long piece. And I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely, wonderful day. Thank you, Lark's World. It says, I love your Final Fantasy video. Thank you to everyone who donated. I hope that, oh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you for saying that. Again, thank you so much, you guys. And thank you, a super special thank you to my wonderful Patreon patrons who help support my music and all of my live videos and live streams, because I never charge for any of these, because I want it to be accessible for you guys, you know? And so I so appreciate your support, because it truly wouldn't be possible without you. So I'm very, very grateful for your friendship, your support, your love, especially during this time right now and all times. I hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great Monday, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. Take care.